Young and Restless next 2 weeks, June 30th to July 11th. Victor and Adam plot against a formidable foe. Young and the Restless 2-week spoilers for June 30th to July 11th, 2025. See Victor Newman, Eric Braden, and Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, targeting an enemy for takedown. Young and the Restless spoilers. Devon's promise and Kane's drama, June 30th. So, on Monday, June 30th, we have Devon Hamilton, Brighton James, promising Abby Newman, Melissa Ordway, that he is going to personally handle Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn. He is quite angry at how much the man has upset his sister Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, with this whole Dumas stunt and the big reveal. Chance Chancellor, Connor Floyd, joins their chat, and after talking about Dominic, they discuss that Kane says he brought Chance there because someone is trying to kill him. Devon and the others seem to doubt that Kane's really at risk and think this just might be another stunt, another game. Abby jokes about a murder mystery game, which is funny. But not funny since Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, said there is indeed a murder mystery coming at the party in France. Chance doubts anything like that is afoot, and Devon thinks it's just more antics and drama from Kane. Kyle and Diane's concerns. Audra's target and Claire's health. Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller, and Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, talk, and she's worried about Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, targeting him. He is meanwhile worried about Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, because he can't talk to her, and he knows that Cole Howard's J. Eddie Peck health is getting dicier by the day. Diane is enjoying this time as a family with Kyle and Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, even though she worries Victor is using Kyle to target Jack again. Kyle assures his mom he will manage Audra.
Don't worry about it.
Damian Kane, Jermaine Rivers, lets Audra know he has noticed her attention on Kyle and says he's going to be keeping an eye on Audra because he thinks she might hurt his brother Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, although she denies it. Damian doesn't buy it that this whole thing with Kyle is about a PR stunt. And Audra finally admits to history with Kyle and of course with Holden Novak, Nathan Owens. And now she has to worry about Damian reporting back to Nate. Young and the Restless spoilers. Billy and Sally's Abbott-Com conflict. Revenge versus career. Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, tries to distract Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, with some nookie. But she insists they go home and launch Abbott-Com with the Dumas is Kane story. Billy's not going to leave and thinks he can get a bigger story from Kane. Plus, Billy says if Kane is indeed going after Chancellor, he's going to need his help to get it. Sally thinks Billy is just back to the same old about revenge and getting Chancellor away from Victor. And of course, Sally risked a lot. She kind of tossed away her burgeoning fashion career to help Billy launch Abbott-Com, and she's bickering with him. Sally tells Billy this is a deal breaker. If he wants her to stick around, he'll sign a document saying Sally gets to run Abbott-Com if he's overrunning Chancellor since he can't run both. And Billy tries to insist that this is nothing like what he did to Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford. But yeah, Sally's not buying it. Lily's fury and Amanda's dilemma. Kane's masquerade and future plans on Young and the Restless spoilers. Lily's mad that Amanda Sinclair, Miss Hale Morgan, didn't warn her it was her ex-husband, Kane, doing the masquerade as the mystery man. And Amanda makes excuses, and she will not reveal any of Kane's plans to Lily. But Amanda does ask if Lily would give Kane another chance romantically, and Lily says it's never ever going to happen. Amanda tries to defend him and insists that Kane changed after Colin died. But Lily thinks Kane is a criminal like his dad and says that he discussed to her. So after ditching Amanda, Lily overhears Devon and Chance and Abby talking about Kane saying he fears he'll be killed on Young and the Restless. Abby suggests this may be Kane distracting them, and Lily thinks Amanda has the answers they need, and they need to shake them out of her. Meanwhile, Amanda is eavesdropping on them from the hidden cameras when she gets a text from Kane saying he is in Genoa City. He's going to be gone for 2 days, and he tells Amanda to keep his guest entertained and distracted. So, hopefully they won't notice his absence. But I'm sure they will. July 1st spoilers. Billy's promise, Kane's meeting and Nick's worries. Tuesday, July 1st, Billy makes Sally a promise. I wonder if he's going to have Amanda draw up the contract that Sally wants, or just jot it down on a cocktail napkin and sign it. Kane is in GC, and he meets with Holden at Crimson Lights, and Holden promises Kane nobody suspects anything. And it looks like Holden is acting on Kane's behalf and is the one snapping up all the commercial real estate in town, especially that close to Jabot and Newman Enterprises. Nick wants info from Damien about Kane because he worked for him for years. Nick is of course worried that Kane is going to try and snatch Chancellor away from his mom, Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott. But the bottom line is Damien actually knows less about Kane than the rest of the people at this party because he didn't even know his name or identity. He was just working for him blindly. And if you remember, Kane tried to diss Damien to Lily and said, "You can't trust him. He's not who he says." Which is kind of ironic coming from him. July 2nd spoilers. Phyllis's discovery, Amanda's loyalty, and Kane's past on Young and the Restless. Wednesday, July 2nd, Phyllis gets some vital info. I wonder if she figures out Kane has snuck out of the chateau. Amanda bickers with Devon. Of course, she's still salty that he cheated with Abby. And Amanda makes it clear she will never betray Kane and give Devon info behind his back. I mean, why would she? Plus, Devon and Abby talk again about this party being a way to distract them while Kane is making some other sort of moves. And over in GC, Kane sees somebody from his past. And I'm wondering if it's Adam or Chelsea Lawson Newman, Melissa Claire Egan, because of what happens next. July 3rd and 4th spoilers. Mariah's secret, Cole's fate, and Adam's arrival on YNR. Thursday, July 3rd, Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, is feeling hopeless. She is split from Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks. Mariah says it's not safe to tell her wife what she did. Sounds like she broke the law. We'll see if somebody comes for her. Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, is shocked as Cole tells her and Claire at the hospital in Chicago that they made it just in time to say goodbye because he is dying. Chelsea sees a con artist at work, and it could be Holden or it could be Kane. But Chelsea will definitely recognize a con artist, and this is what is going to have Adam rushing to France. Friday, July 4th is supposed to be a new episode. But just check your DVR, and if for some reason they do an unscheduled preemption, delete it, or your Monday episode won't record. So, Adam arrives at the Newman train car at the end of the week. He's up at the chateau. Victor is completely stunned to see Adam disheveled and all sweaty when he gets there, and he tells the other Newmans how hard it was to reach them, and he's got critical news that Victor needs to hear right 11 away. Spoilers. Kane's return, Victor's plot, and Chance's exit on Young and the Restless. Adam's obviously going to share about the big real estate buy-up in GC, and we'll see if he knows that Holden is working with Kane, which is great info for Victor to know. Meanwhile, Nikki is even more afraid she's going to lose Chancellor. Obviously, she's worried Kane's going to find a way to steal it. And Victor manages to outmaneuver Kane at the end of this week. Then the week of July 7th through the 11th, we've got Kane heading back to France sometime late in the week or early the following week after touching base with Holden in Genoa City and taking care of things there. Obviously, Kane's going to go back to France and carry out the other part of his plans, which definitely are distract, deny. Kane may not be happy to find that Adam has made it to France and is telling Victor about what is going on in GC. Victor's plotting his next move after getting this critical info from Adam. Mariah continues to spiral. Claire and Victoria are struggling as Cole's health takes a terrible nosedive, and Holden's cover may be blown. Plus, Connor Floyd is exiting as Chancellor within the next couple of weeks. So, he may be the one who's the victim of the murder mystery, and he is filming over at Days of Our Lives. He took over Billy Flynn's old role when he came over to take the role of recast Kane Ashby. Genoa City is about to face a storm like no other as the next 2 weeks from June 30th to July 11th set the stage for explosive confrontations, emotional reckonings, and power moves that could change everything. Victor Newman and Adam Newman are aligning their strategies, and when those two combine forces, their enemies should prepare for impact. What begins as a subtle maneuvering behind closed doors quickly escalates into a ruthless plan to dismantle a formidable foe who has underestimated the Newman Empire for far too long. This is not just another corporate power play. It's personal, strategic, and full of high-stakes drama that only the Young and the Restless can deliver. Victor has been quietly observing, his sharp eyes catching every subtle betrayal and ambitious move in Genoa City's shifting landscape. While many believed the mustache was stepping back, he's actually been calculating his next move with precision. Adam, meanwhile, is at a crucial crossroads. Torn between his ambition and his complex feelings toward his family, Adam finally decides to lean into his Newman heritage. Their unexpected alliance shakes everyone around them. When Victor and Adam decide to work together, the target better watch their back because the Newman father-son duo doesn't give warnings, they strike. As the 2 weeks unfold, whispers of betrayal and ambition ripple through the halls of Newman Enterprises. Victor begins orchestrating a series of behind-the-scenes moves designed to smoke out a traitor and weaken their opponent's defenses. Adam, ever the strategist, takes on a more direct role, planting seeds, gathering information, and creating chaos in all the right places. Their foe, however, is not easily intimidated. This opponent has power, influence, and their own strategic mind. What follows is a high-stakes chess match, with each side trying to outmaneuver the other while the rest of Genoa City watches with growing tension. Meanwhile, the Newman family dynamics reach a boiling point. Nikki grows increasingly uneasy about Victor and Adam's partnership, fearing the cost of such ruthless strategies. Nick finds himself caught in the middle once again, unsure whether to support his father's vision or distance himself before he gets pulled into another dangerous game. Victoria, who's always been fiercely protective of her power at Newman Enterprises, feels the ground shifting beneath her feet. Victor's alliance with Adam threatens her position and challenges her trust. The tension between siblings intensifies as old wounds are reopened and new rivalries spark to life. Away from the Newman boardroom, Genoa City sees romantic entanglements heating up. As the corporate war builds momentum, personal lives become equally complicated. Chelsea grapples with lingering feelings and future decisions as Adam's renewed closeness with Victor puts him on a different trajectory. Sally finds herself observing Adam's actions carefully, wondering if his loyalty to family will once again crush any chance they have at a future together. Meanwhile, Billy is never far from Newman drama, and his curiosity could end up placing him right in the middle of a storm he's not prepared for. The plot against the formidable foe intensifies by the second week. Victor sets a trap, one so cleverly designed that even the most cunning adversary won't see it coming until it's too late. He begins leveraging alliances across Genoa City, pulling in resources from unexpected places. Old debts are called in, secrets are unearthed, and strategic partnerships form. Adam plays his part perfectly, becoming the visible face of the attack, while Victor operates in the shadows, ensuring their target has nowhere to hide. As their plan unfolds, cracks begin to show within the opponent's camp. Tension, suspicion, and betrayal emerge as Victor and Adam's machinations start to bear fruit. Someone close to their target begins to question their loyalty, creating an opening that the Newmans are quick to exploit. Genoa City becomes a battlefield of subtle power plays, with every conversation, every glance, and every business move carrying hidden meaning. The second week also brings emotional bombshells. A family confrontation could leave relationships permanently fractured. A shocking confession threatens to rewrite alliances. A betrayal hits close to home for one of Genoa City's most powerful families. As Victor and Adam move closer to executing the final stage of their plan, the stakes skyrocket and the fallout threatens to affect everyone. Victor's satisfaction grows as he watches his opponent squirm, but Adam's journey takes an interesting twist. While working with his father, he rediscovers his sense of power and belonging. However, his past demons resurface, forcing him to confront difficult emotions about loyalty, trust, and identity. Will Adam fully embrace his role in Victor's world, or will old habits sabotage everything just when success is within reach? Meanwhile, Victoria refuses to sit quietly. She begins launching her own countermeasures, determined not to let her father and brother reshape the Newman Empire without her say. Her strategic mind kicks into overdrive, and she sets a few traps of her own. It becomes a dangerous three-way power struggle, Victor and Adam versus their foe, with Victoria operating as a wild card that could either stabilize or destabilize the entire operation. The atmosphere in Genoa City becomes electric as July 11th approaches. Rumors swirl, alliances shift, and loyalties are tested. By the end of this 2-week period, at least one power player will find themselves blindsided by a twist they never saw coming. Victor's plan will leave its mark, but the question is, who will still be standing once the smoke clears? The Young and the Restless promises an unforgettable 2 weeks filled with high drama, shocking moves, emotional confrontations, and the kind of ruthless strategy that has defined the Newman legacy for decades. Whether Victor and Adam's alliance will lead to victory or unexpected consequences remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Genoa City will never be the same after this storm. Into the second half of the first week, Victor and Adam's alliance begins to make waves in Genoa City's business and social circles. Subtle changes in their demeanor catch everyone's attention. Victor appears more energized, more deliberate in his movements, while Adam adopts a sharper, more confident edge that hasn't been seen in months. Those who know the Newman men best can sense something brewing, something big. The whispers in the boardrooms grow louder as key figures begin trying to figure out exactly who the mysterious target of their plotting might be. Victoria's unease turns into active resistance. She begins quietly reaching out to trusted allies, setting her own chess pieces in motion. While Victor and Adam move like a united front, Victoria maneuvers as an independent strategist, determined to protect her authority. She arranges discreet meetings, revisits old alliances, and starts digging into financial records and boardroom dealings, looking for any sign of what her father and brother are planning. Her instincts tell her that whatever they're doing, it will affect her power at Newman Enterprises, and Victoria Forrester Newman does not take kindly to being sidelined. Nikki, caught between her love for Victor and her concern for the family, tries to keep the peace, but tensions are building too quickly. She urges Victor to be transparent with his children, but Victor keeps his cards close to his chest. He believes that secrecy is the key to ensuring their plan succeeds. The fewer people who know the details, the less chance of leaks. Adam agrees wholeheartedly, enjoying the exclusivity of their partnership. For once, he's not the outsider. He's Victor's trusted lieutenant, and he revels in that role. Meanwhile, their opponent, a figure who has been rising quietly in power, amassing influence through cunning business moves and subtle manipulation, begins to realize something is off. Numbers aren't adding up. Unexpected obstacles start appearing in contracts, negotiations stall mysteriously, and trusted associates begin to act unpredictably. They don't know yet who's behind it, but they can feel the invisible hand of a master manipulator at work. They start shoring up their defenses, hiring legal experts, reinforcing board alliances, and tightening their inner circle. As Victor observes these defensive maneuvers, he smiles privately. He knows he's gotten under their skin. Every move they make to defend themselves only reveals more of their weaknesses to him. Adam, working behind the scenes, plants subtle misinformation, ensuring that their target is always one step behind, chasing shadows while Victor quietly builds his offensive. Back in the personal drama realm, Adam's renewed connection to Victor begins to complicate his relationships. Chelsea watches his transformation with a mixture of admiration and apprehension. She's proud of his strength, but worried about the darkness that often accompanies his power plays. Sally, on the other hand, becomes more suspicious. She's seen this version of Adam before, the one who prioritizes family legacy and power over emotional connection. She starts questioning whether she fits into this new chapter of his life or if she'll be left behind once again. The tension between Victoria and Adam grows exponentially. In a tense boardroom exchange, their differing visions for Newman's future come to a head. Victoria demands answers, Adam deflects with cold precision, and Victor remains strategically silent, allowing the two to clash. Their dynamic is volatile, fueled by years of sibling rivalry, resentment, and a shared hunger for power. Those watching from the sidelines can feel that this is only the beginning of a much larger confrontation. As the first week closes, Victor and Adam initiate the first major phase of their operation. A bold business maneuver sends shockwaves through the corporate community, forcing their opponent into a corner. Contracts are pulled, alliances are tested, and the balance of power begins to shift ever so slightly in the Newmans' favor. Their foe scrambles to respond, but Victor's timing is flawless. This is just the beginning of his trap, and it's working. The second week opens with high-stakes tension. Victor begins tightening the net. He uses his vast resources and decades of influence to corner his opponent economically, politically, and socially. Adam continues his behind-the-scenes efforts, inserting himself into negotiations, manipulating key players, and feeding strategic information to ensure their target makes all the wrong moves. Victoria steps up her efforts to figure out the truth. She confronts Adam more aggressively, challenging his motives and questioning Victor's judgment. She considers forming an unexpected alliance with someone outside the Newman circle to counter her father's growing influence, a risky move that could change the game entirely. Meanwhile, Billy senses the growing cracks in the Newman family structure. Ever the opportunist, he begins poking around, asking the right questions, trying to find a way to benefit from the brewing war. If Victor and Adam are focused on taking down their foe, Billy wonders if he can slide into a position of advantage while their attention is elsewhere. The romantic subplots continue to heat up as well. Sally struggles with her feelings, caught between her heart and her survival instincts. Chelsea faces her own crossroads, wondering if she should intervene or step back as Adam fully embraces the Newman way. These emotional threads intertwine with the corporate warfare, adding layers of vulnerability and unpredictability to the unfolding drama. As July 11th approaches, Victor makes his most daring move yet. He unveils a shocking business maneuver during a high-profile meeting, leaving everyone in stunned silence. His opponent realizes too late that they've been systematically dismantled from the inside. Adam stands by his father's side as the trap snaps shut, their formidable foe caught with no escape. But just when it seems Victor has achieved total victory, a shocking twist emerges, one that threatens to unravel everything. A betrayal from an unexpected source shakes the Newman family to its core, leaving Victor furious, Adam reeling, and Victoria both horrified and vindicated. The stage is set for fallout that will reverberate through Genoa City for months to come. Victor's enemies may have fallen, but the real war is just beginning, within his own family. The fallout from Victor's stunning business maneuver is immediate and explosive. Genoa City's corporate world buzzes with whispers, speculation, and thinly veiled panic. Victor has done what many believed impossible, cornered a powerful foe and forced them into retreat without ever revealing the full scope of his plan until the very last moment. It's a classic Newman strike, fast, ruthless, and impeccably timed. Adam, standing beside his father, basks in the moment. For once, he's not the outcast or the black sheep. He's Victor's ally, his right-hand man. The look of pride on Victor's face is brief, but unmistakable, and for Adam, it's everything he's wanted. This alliance gives him a sense of belonging that he's been chasing for years. However, this moment of triumph is about to be tested in ways he never saw coming. Victoria's fury reaches a boiling point. She feels betrayed, sidelined, and disrespected. For years, she's been the steady force at Newman Enterprises, carrying the weight of the family legacy, often cleaning up the messes left by others. And now, Victor has made a monumental power play with Adam by his side, leaving her out of the loop. That betrayal cuts deep, and Victoria is not one to sit quietly. She decides to hit back. Victoria begins to orchestrate her own counterattack with the precision of someone who's played this game her entire life. She starts by reaching out to influential board members, subtly planting seeds of doubt about Victor's recent actions. She frames his decision as impulsive and risky, hinting that his reliance on Adam may jeopardize the company's stability. These conversations are quiet, calculated, and dangerously effective. Meanwhile, Nikki becomes the emotional epicenter of the family drama. She confronts Victor in private, demanding to know why he kept Victoria in the dark. Victor defends his actions, insisting that secrecy was necessary for the plan's success. Nikki warns him that while he may have won the battle, he's at risk of losing his children's trust and potentially destabilizing the very family he's trying to protect. The betrayal twist begins to unfold slowly. Victor notices subtle discrepancies in the execution of the final phase of his plan. A confidential document reaches their opponent faster than expected. A key strategic maneuver encounters unexpected resistance. At first, he assumes it's a coincidence, but his instincts tell him otherwise. Someone close has leaked information. Adam is quick to suspect outsiders, but Victor remains silent, watching, observing, and piecing the puzzle together. When the truth comes out, it's more shocking than either of them anticipated. A trusted ally, someone Victor believed would never cross him, has betrayed them. This betrayal isn't just a leak. It's a deliberate, calculated sabotage designed to weaken the Newman offensive from within. The identity of the betrayer sends shockwaves through the family. Adam is blindsided, furious that someone within their inner circle would undermine everything they've built. Victor, however, responds not with outrage, but with icy precision. He knows emotion clouds judgment. Instead, he starts preparing his next move, one that will expose the traitor and remind everyone why he remains the king of Genoa City's power game. Victoria, meanwhile, sees the chaos as an opportunity. She doesn't know the full details of the betrayal yet, but she senses weakness. She begins laying the groundwork to reassert her authority, confident that when the dust settles, she'll be the one in control. She arranges private meetings, builds alliances, and carefully positions herself as the voice of reason in contrast to her father's ruthless tactics. The betrayal also sends emotional shockwaves through Adam's personal life. Chelsea sees the toll it's taking on him and struggles to balance her concern with her growing apprehension about his closeness to Victor. Sally watches from the sidelines, torn between supporting him and protecting herself from being collateral damage in another Newman power struggle. Adam's trust issues flare up, and he begins questioning everyone's loyalty, including those closest to him. As the second week progresses, Victor sets a trap to unmask the traitor. He leaks controlled misinformation to different key figures, monitoring where it ends up. This classic Victor strategy works flawlessly. Within days, the betrayal trail leads straight back to its source, and Victor prepares for a confrontation that promises to shake the Newman family to its core. In a dramatic showdown behind the closed doors of the Newman boardroom, Victor confronts the betrayer with cold, commanding authority. The room is heavy with tension as secrets are laid bare and motives revealed. The betrayer tries to defend their actions, claiming it was a necessary move to protect the company, but Victor isn't buying it. The betrayal cuts deeper because it came from within, and for Victor, that's the ultimate offense. Adam watches this confrontation unfold with a mix of fury and vindication. For him, loyalty is everything in this moment. He's risked his reputation to stand beside Victor, and this betrayal feels like a personal attack as much as a strategic one. Victoria's reaction to the betrayal is layered. Part of her is shocked, part of her is unsurprised, and part of her sees it as an opening. She knows this crisis could either fracture the family permanently or give her the leverage she needs to reclaim her power. Her next moves will be crucial. By the end of the second week, the Newman family stands at a crossroads. Victor has eliminated their formidable foe, but the cost has been internal instability. The betrayal has exposed vulnerabilities in their once impenetrable family structure. Adam finds himself questioning his place in the family again, even after standing beside his father. Victoria positions herself for a power grab. Nikki watches in growing concern, wondering if this time, Victor's empire may not survive the storm brewing from within. The tension promises to spill into the weeks beyond July 11th. With the betrayer exposed, alliances shifting, and emotional wounds deepening, Genoa City braces for the next phase of the Newman family war, a battle not against outsiders, but against each other. The aftermath of the betrayal doesn't stay confined behind closed doors for long. Word spreads quickly through Genoa City's corporate grapevine that someone inside Newman Enterprises leaked sensitive information. The whispers grow louder, the speculation fiercer, and the press begins circling like sharks. For Victor, allowing this perception to linger is unacceptable. His power is built not just on wealth, but on fear and respect. Any sign of weakness could invite enemies to take their shot. So he moves swiftly, crafting a public retaliation that leaves no doubt about who still holds the reins. Victor arranges an emergency press conference that shocks the entire city. With Adam standing firmly at his side, Victor delivers a cutting speech. He portrays Newman Enterprises as a fortress that has just undergone a stress test and passed. He frames the betrayal as a minor internal issue that has been handled decisively, carefully controlling the narrative. But his words carry an unmistakable edge, a veiled warning to anyone who might consider testing him next. Adam, watching his father command the room, feels a surge of conflicting emotions. On one hand, he's proud to be part of this moment. This is the Victor Newman legacy he's longed to inherit. On the other hand, he feels the mounting pressure of living up to the expectations that come with standing beside the patriarch. Every word, every glance from the board members and press feels like a judgment, an evaluation of whether Adam truly belongs at his father's side, or if he's just a temporary ally. Victoria watches the press conference from her office, her expression unreadable. She notes every word, every strategic move, filing them away for later use. She knows her father well. She can see the openings, the vulnerabilities that others might miss. She's already mapping out how to use this public show of strength against him in the long run. While Victor is busy handling the external narrative, she quietly focuses on the internal battlefield, consolidating her alliances and preparing for the perfect moment to strike. Now exposed, faces swift and merciless consequences. Victor removes them from their position with surgical precision, ensuring there's no room for negotiation or redemption. This decisive action sends a clear message throughout the company. Betrayal will not just be punished, it will be eradicated. Yet behind the scenes, this betrayal has left fractures that no press conference can fully conceal. Some board members begin to question Victor's reliance on Adam. Others quietly wonder if Victoria might be the more stable leader moving forward. Adam's emotional spiral begins quietly but intensifies with each passing day. The thrill of victory fades, replaced by old insecurities. He wonders if Victor truly trusts him or if he's just being used as a weapon in the patriarch's latest battle. His interactions with Victoria grow colder, more brittle, each conversation layered with tension and unspoken resentment. He tries to lean on Chelsea for support, but she's torn between wanting to be there for him and fearing the darkness that always seems to follow his involvement in Newman's schemes. Sally, meanwhile, observes from a distance, recognizing the signs. She's seen Adam go down this road before, pulled into Victor's orbit, lifted high, then cast aside when the winds shift. She worries that history will repeat itself, and she questions whether she can emotionally withstand another round of heartbreak if Adam becomes collateral damage in Victor and Victoria's power struggle. Victor senses Adam's inner conflict, but his focus remains on maintaining control. He summons his son for a private conversation, one that is equal parts reassurance and test. He reminds Adam of the importance of loyalty, strength, and discipline. For Victor, emotional wavering is a weakness. For Adam, however, this conversation triggers his lifelong struggle between craving his father's approval and resenting the emotional distance that comes with it. Victoria, fully aware of her brother's vulnerability, begins subtly exploiting it. In carefully chosen moments, she drops calculated comments meant to sow seeds of doubt about Victor's trust, about Adam's place in the company, about his ability to handle the pressure. She's not attacking him openly. She's softening him up, making sure that when she makes her move, Adam's loyalty to Victor will already be cracked. The corporate world of Genoa City watches all of this unfold like a high-stakes drama. Victor's enemies see an opportunity. If the Newman family is fractured internally, then perhaps their empire isn't as impenetrable as it seems. Whispers of quiet alliances begin surfacing. Rivals start plotting. A few even consider approaching Victoria discreetly, believing she may be more willing to negotiate than her father. As the 2-week period nears its end, the pressure on Adam reaches a breaking point. He finds himself pulled in 3 directions, toward Victor's vision, toward Victoria's subtle manipulations, and toward his own internal demons. The weight of the betrayal, the public fallout, and the family tension threatens to push him into a decision that could redefine his future. Victor, ever the strategist, senses that his real battle is no longer external. The formidable foe he crushed was just the beginning. Now, The war is within his own walls, between his children, between loyalty and ambition, between legacy and change. And he knows that if he doesn't control this internal storm, everything he's built could eventually be turned against him. As the pressure intensifies in the aftermath of Victor's public retaliation, Victoria decides the time for subtlety is over. Her patience has thinned to a razor's edge, and the betrayal scandal has opened doors she intends to walk through boldly. She moves quietly but decisively, meeting with key board members and influential figures behind the scenes. Her tone is calm, her arguments polished, her confidence unwavering. She paints a picture of stability under her leadership, an image of Newman Enterprises guided by reason and vision, not by unpredictable power plays. The seeds she planted in hushed conversations are now taking root. Victor senses the shifting currents, though he doesn't confront Victoria immediately. He's been through too many wars not to recognize when one is forming on the horizon. His instincts tell him to watch carefully, let her make her moves, then strike when the timing is perfect. But what he doesn't fully anticipate is just how far Victoria is willing to go this time. She's not content with a seat at the table. She wants the head of the table, and she's tired of asking for permission to lead. Adam, meanwhile, finds himself unraveling. The emotional weight of the betrayal, the public scrutiny, and his father's cold strategic approach are pushing him into dangerous territory. His conversations with Chelsea grow more strained as he struggles to articulate his inner turmoil. Sally tries to reach him, but he keeps her at arm's length, convinced that vulnerability will only make him weaker. Late nights at the office turn into restless pacing, his mind replaying every moment where he's been lifted up by Victor only to be pushed down again. Victoria sees his instability and moves in with surgical precision. She doesn't attack him outright. Instead, she positions herself as a concerned sister, offering subtle empathy while planting carefully chosen doubts. She questions whether Victor will ever truly see Adam as an equal or if he's simply using him as a pawn to execute his plans. Her words cut deep, not because they're aggressive, but because they echo Adam's deepest insecurities. Victor, occupied with external challenges, doesn't fully see how Victoria's quiet campaign is gaining traction. A few influential figures begin to align themselves with her vision, believing that perhaps a new era of leadership is exactly what Newman needs. Whispers of a potential internal shift reach Victor's ears, and though he remains outwardly composed, his temper simmers beneath the surface. The betrayal scandal continues to ripple outward. Their defeated foe begins seeking allies, trying to exploit the cracks within the Newman family. They may have been cornered, but they're not out of the game. They reach out to select rivals, floating the idea that the Newman Empire is vulnerable from the inside. This dangerous external pressure only adds to the family's internal tension, creating the perfect storm. All of this unfold with growing concern. She sees the widening gulf between Victor, Victoria, and Adam. She knows her husband's instinct is to fight fire with fire, but she also knows that if he pushes too hard, the family may splinter beyond repair. She tries to broker peace, urging her children to unite, but the lines have already been drawn too deeply. Adam reaches a breaking point one late evening when he overhears a conversation between Victoria and a high-level board member. Their words confirm his worst fears. They're positioning her as the future of Newman Enterprises, with or without Victor's blessing. Rage, fear, and betrayal collide inside him. He storms out, his mind spinning with thoughts of revenge, desperation, and the aching desire to finally be seen as more than just the family wild card. Victor finds Adam in his office hours later, staring out the window in silence. The father senses something shifting in his son, something dangerous. He tries to reel Adam back in with talk of strategy, loyalty, and legacy, but Adam's responses are curt, edged with bitterness. Victor realizes that if he doesn't tighten his grip soon, Adam could become not just an ally, but another rival. Victoria, on the other hand, accelerates her plan. She schedules a major board meeting, one designed to showcase her leadership and subtly question the current direction without directly challenging Victor yet. It's a calculated move to test the waters, gauge support, and set the stage for a bigger power play to come. By the end of the 2-week period, the Newman Empire stands on a knife's edge. Victor may have crushed his external foe, but the real war is now brewing from within his own family. Adam's loyalty hangs by a thread. Victoria's ambitions are burning hotter than ever, and Victor is caught between maintaining control and confronting the reality that his empire's greatest threat might not come from outside Genoa City, but from within the walls of Newman itself. The tension sets the stage for a summer of power struggles, betrayals, shifting alliances, and emotional explosions that promise to redefine the family's future. As July approaches its midpoint, the stakes in Genoa City rise higher than ever, and the simmering tension inside the Newman family threatens to explode into something that no one can contain. Victor, ever the master strategist, is careful not to reveal the full extent of his plan, even to Adam, though Adam senses that something much larger is in play than either of them has openly discussed. Adam's growing awareness of the secrecy keeps him restless, torn between trusting his father's instincts and wondering if he is once again being positioned as a pawn in Victor's never-ending power games. The mysterious foe they are targeting is beginning to push back, subtly, in ways that unsettle both Newman men. At the same time, Victoria grows increasingly convinced that she's being cut out of the loop on purpose, and her determination to uncover the truth only makes her more dangerous. Nick, caught in the middle, struggles with his own instincts about protecting family versus preserving peace, but he knows one wrong move could turn the entire Newman Empire inside out. Meanwhile, at Jabot, Jack Abbott can't shake the feeling that Victor's empire is about to shake the ground beneath Genoa City. Jack's instinct tells him that when the Newman family goes to war, either with outsiders or themselves, the ripple effects hit everyone. He begins quietly reaching out to allies, testing the waters for possible countermeasures, and even considers confiding in Ashley despite their ongoing differences. Billy, on the other hand, is eager to insert himself in ways that are reckless and emotionally charged, particularly as he learns fragments of the Newman plotting through back channels. His thirst for confrontation could either expose Victor's moves or give the Newmans an opportunity to crush him completely. Beyond the boardrooms and backroom alliances, personal lives begin colliding with business ambitions. Sharon, still finding her footing after recent emotional upheavals, stumbles into a position where her calm wisdom might influence Nick's next choices, sparking subtle shifts in loyalties. Phyllis, ever the schemer, senses that opportunity is in the air and positions herself in ways that could exploit fractures on both sides of the Newman-Abbott rivalry. Each day that passes, Genoa City's web of secrets grows more tangled, and by the time July 11th arrives, it's clear that the ultimate confrontation is no longer about if it will happen, but when, and who will survive the fallout with their power, reputation, and family bonds intact.